everyone, welcome to iExamBee. I'm Neha, your law faculty at LegalBee. Friends, in this video, we'll be continuing ahead with our mock test series discussion with respect to Companies Act. And before we proceed ahead with that, please do remember to subscribe to our channel and press on the bell icon so that you can stay tuned and stay updated. You can contact us through this email ID or you can call us on this number for any questions or queries. Apart from this, do remember to visit our website for getting information with respect to various competitive exams. So stay tuned and stay updated. As I've already mentioned, आज हम Companies Act का mock test series discussion continue करेंगे और इसके अंदर आज हम करने वाले हैं MCQs related to deposits and dividends, and we'll be looking on to the various aspects or questions with respect to them. But before I move ahead, पहले हम देखेंगे कि deposits और dividends होता क्या है, ठीक है? So deposits को basically हम समझ सकते हैं as a borrowing of the company. So it is the borrowing of the company. Basically the company goes ahead this type of borrowing so as to raise funds for its business and all, and this borrowing it can go ahead and do from the public or from the members, etc. But yes, there are certain restrictions with respect to deposits. There are certain things which have been included, certain things which have been excluded, so all those have to be taken care of. On the other hand, if we talk about the dividend, so dividend is what? It is actually, you can say, the profit of the company. जो भी profit अगर company earn कर रही है, all those profits, it is not retained by the company entirely. A part of the profit which the company shares with the shareholders. So all the profit जो भी company earn करती है वो अपने business में ही नहीं लगा देती expansion के लिए and otherwise, but part of that profit it actually shares with the shareholders, gives them a part of that profit. So not the entire profit is retained by the company, but there is a portion of it which is shared with the shareholders. So this is what dividend and deposit basically means. So now we'll be moving ahead with our first question, that is, a company can invite, accept or renew deposits as per section 73 of the Companies Act if it is a. So which of these is the correct option out of these? So banking company, eligible company, non-banking financial company, both A and C, all A, B and C, and the correct option with respect to this particular question is E, all A, B and C. So question क्या था हमारा, एक कंपनी जो है invite, accept या renew कर सकती है deposit अगर वो कौन सी category of company है. It is basically if it is a banking company, eligible company and non-banking financial company. Because अगर हम section 73 की बात करें जो कि हमारा first and foremost section है इस particular topic से related, so that talks about prohibition of acceptance of deposit from public. So as per the general rule, there is a prohibition that the companies they cannot go ahead and accept deposits from the public. However, ये जो general rule है हमारा, to this there are certain exceptions, and that is this particular prohibition is not applicable to banking companies, non-banking financial companies, then eligible companies. And what are eligible companies? They have been mentioned under rule 2, okay, of the companies acceptance of deposit rule 2014. So these are the category of companies which can go ahead and accept, invite or renew deposits from the public. Otherwise, as a general rule, there is a prohibition on the companies that they can go ahead and accept deposits from the public. Now moving on to our very next question, that is, what are the conditions subject to which a company may accept deposits from its members? So there is a prohibition that the companies they cannot go ahead and accept deposit from whom? From the public, except certain companies which we saw in the previous question. However, subject to certain conditions, the company can go ahead and accept deposits from the members, and so you have to choose the correct option with respect to this particular question, that is, what are the conditions which are applicable, and the correct option is E, both A and C. So A and C, which is issuance of circular to the members and filing of a copy of the circular within 30 days before it is issued to the members with the ROC. So section 73 again talking about this particular provision, and it mentions that a resolution is required to be passed in the general meeting, and that will be subjected to certain conditions and all which will be applicable, such as you can see from here, issuance of the circular to its members. Then that particular circular will be including a statement which will be showing the financial position of the company, credit rating जो भी कंपनी ने obtain किया है, total number of depositors क्या है. So circular के साथ साथ ये सारे statements इन सारे details के साथ वो circular को issue करेगी company members को. Then a copy of that particular circular is required to be filed with the registrar, and that has to be done within 30 days before it is being issued. Depositing on or before the 30th day of April each year, that sum is not to be less than 20% of the amount of deposits which will be maturing during the financial year, and that has to be kept in a separate bank account, that will be deposit repayment reserve account. Then certifying that the company has not committed any default with respect to repayment repayment of deposit, etc. Then the provision with respect to providing of security, if any, for the due repayment of the amount of deposit or interest, including creation of charges on the property or assets of the company. Now moving on to our question number 3, which mentions as laid down under the Companies Act, dash shall not be used by the company for any purpose other than the repayment of deposits. So out of these, you have to select the most appropriate answer. The options are deposit reserve fund, deposit reserve account, deposit repayment reserve account, deposit redemption reserve account, deposit acceptance reserve account. So इन सारे में से कौन सा account that will be not used by the company for any other purpose except for going ahead and doing the repayment of deposits? And the correct option with respect to this particular question is C, that is deposit repayment reserve account. So section 73 mentions this, prohibition of acceptance of deposits from public. Section 73 का subsection 5 कहता है deposit repayment reserve account shall not be used by the company for any purpose other than the repayment of deposits. So with respect to repayment of deposits, this account has to be utilized only. Now our next question, that is question number 4, which is what is the sum which the company is required to deposit in the deposit repayment reserve account? अब ये जो deposit repayment reserve account company बनाएगी with respect to the repayment of deposits, there is a sum which has been specified under the Companies Act that the company is required to deposit in this particular account, and so you have to choose which is that amount which the company is required to deposit in the deposit repayment reserve account. And the correct option for this particular question is D, which is not be less than 20% of the amount of its deposit. So whatever amount of deposits is there with respect to the particular company, 20% of that has to be deposited in this particular account. Section 73 again इसके बारे में बात करता है. The company will be depositing on or before the 30th day of April each year a sum which shall not be less than 20% of the amount of deposits that will be maturing, okay, when during the financial year, and it has to be kept in a scheduled bank in separate bank account called the deposit repayment reserve account. Very next question is for a company to accept deposits from public, it should be an eligible company. So हमने देखा था कि as a general rule there is a prohibition of acceptance of deposits by the companies from the public. However, there were certain exceptions. One of those was eligible companies. So for the companies to go ahead and accept deposits from public, it should be an eligible company. So which of these are referred to as an eligible company? So ये eligible companies होती क्या है? Basically ये question उससे related है. So which all companies you can refer to as an eligible company? And correct option with respect to this particular question is B. Our option number B is correct, which is public companies having net worth of not less than 100 crore rupees or a turnover of not less than 500 crore rupees is termed as eligible companies. इससे related provision जो है हमारे companies acceptance of deposit rules में दिया है, rule number 2 में दिया है, और वहां defined है eligible company, which means a public company having net worth of not less than 100 crore rupees or turnover of not less than 500 crore rupees, which has obtained the prior consent of the company in the general meeting. So prior consent of the company is also required to be taken in the general meeting, and that has to be done by a special resolution, and that resolution is required to be filed with the registrar of companies. So now moving on to our very next question, that is question number 6, and that talks about any dividend payable in cash may be paid by dash to the shareholders who are entitled to the payment of dividend. And you have the option of cash, check, warrant, either A, B or C, and either B or C. And the correct option with respect to this is either B or C, which is option number E, which is B or C is our warrant or check. So section 123, which talks about declaration of dividend, mentions that any dividend payable in cash may be paid by check or warrant or in electronic mode. So check and warrant is the correct option over there. Apart from that, it can be in the electronic mode to the shareholders who are entitled with respect to its payment. Now the question number 7 is, as per the Companies Act, which all companies are required to create a corporate social responsibility committee of the board? So CSR activities, we know these are the responsibilities which a company has towards the society with respect to environment, sports, etc. So Companies Act provide करता है कि जो भी companies as specified under the Companies Act, those companies which are required to go ahead and create a corporate social responsibility committee of its board. So which are those companies basically? And correct option with respect to this particular question is A, which is a company having net worth of 500 crore rupees or more, or turnover of rupees 1000 crore or more, or a net profit of 500 crore or more during the immediately preceding financial year. So a company which is having either of these threshold limits which is mentioned in this particular option, all those companies, they are required by the Companies Act that they should create a corporate social responsibility committee of its board. Section 135 which is talking about corporate social responsibility, उसमें subsection 1 बोलता है every company having a net worth of 500 crore or more, turnover of rupees 1000 crore or more, or net profit. So either of these things, if the company has net profit कितना 5 crore or more during the immediately preceding financial year, these type of companies, they have to create a corporate social responsibility committee of the board, and this board will be consisting of 3 or more directors, out of which at least one director shall be an independent director. So आप देख सकते हो इस particular question में not only the limit is one of the things which you need to be aware, but apart from that the composition you can say of the board of the CSR. Now our very next question, that is question number 8, if we talk about, it mentions the board of every company which has been referred in section 135 subsection 1, they have to ensure that the company is actually spending in every financial year at least 2% of the average net profit of the company which the company will be making during dash. Okay, so basically this is with respect to the CSR activities that the companies, they are required to spend at least 2% of the average net profit of the company that they will be making during when. So you have to select the correct option from the various options given over here. So the correct option with respect to this particular question is C, which is 3 immediately preceding financial year. Section 135 में इसका provision दिया है which mentions that the board of every company which is specified in this particular subsection 1 of this section 135, they have to ensure that the company is spending in every financial year at least 2% of the average net profit of the company. So this much they have to spend in the CSR activities during the 3 immediately preceding financial years, or where the company has not completed the period of 3 financial years since its incorporation during such immediately preceding financial year in pursuance of the corporate social responsibility policy. Now moving on to our question number 9, which talks about all the shares in respect of which dividend has not been paid or claimed for 7 consecutive years or more shall be transferred by the company to which of these. So basically जो भी shares के respect में company ने dividend declare किया है and that has not been paid or claimed for a period of 7 consecutive years or more, then that particular amount is required to be transferred by the company to which of these accounts, and the correct option with respect to this is B, which is Investors Education and Protection Fund. To this particular fund that amount has to be transferred given under section 124 which talks about unpaid dividend account. Moving on to our question number 10, which is our last question for this particular video discussion, and that is what is the time period within which the amount of the dividend including the interim dividend has to be deposited in the scheduled bank in a separate account from the date of declaration. So whenever the dividend has been declared by the company, so within how many days of that declaration the amount of the dividend that will be including interim dividend has to be deposited by the company in a scheduled bank in a separate bank account. And the correct option for this particular question is A, which is within 5 days the company has to do that. So section 123 इसके बारे में बात करता है under subsection 4 that the amount of the dividend including interim dividend be deposited in the scheduled bank in a separate account within 5 days from the date of declaration of such dividend. So with this we come to an end to our discussion with respect to the various MCQs relating to deposits and dividend. हमारे next video में हम continue करेंगे अपने Companies Act के further chapter से related MCQs. So do remember to stay tuned to iExamBee's LegalBee so that you can get all the latest updates with respect to the various competitive exams, and apart from that you can stay tuned and get yourself prepared with the various study material, MCQ series and many other things which we come up on a regular basis. So stay tuned and stay updated and make your preparation 50% faster with us at iExamBee's LegalBee.